And if you don't think this is serious, if you're not as outraged as I am right now, then you are sleepwalking us into a dictatorship.
Malcolm, who said I have the right to do anything I want to do? I'm the president of the United States. Who said that?
Chris Lavoie.
You're bad at this too. Yeah, he's talking about deploying the National Guard to Chicago. You wrote a great piece, Get Outraged. Our cities are about to become occupied by the army. Can I just say, Malcolm, what occurred to me yesterday? Everything they warned about with Obama that didn't happen is what's happening now, right?
Yeah, and you know what? We shouldn't even go there. When these people do that, and that's the purpose of my Substack this morning. If you guys are not subscribers to my Substack,
you hate America.
This is the day you want to watch. This is the day you want to read that one. I was in an interview at the Times of London yesterday, and let me tell you, you have never heard me as shouty as this, ever. Because we are really in a state of emergency. This is serious now. And I know a lot of you are tired. I know after the No Kings March, a lot of you were like, oh, well, we did our thing. We reached 11 point some odd million protesters. Now you are seeing the effects of not having sustained protest. This happened in 2017. One big march, everybody dissipates. We may have as many as 13 cities occupied this year by the U.S. Armed Forces, the National Guard, and law enforcement, which are going around in roving groups of 8 people and just doing stop and frisk on the street of anyone who's black and brown.
Yeah.
And if you don't think this is serious, if you're not as outraged as I am right now, then you are sleepwalking us into a dictatorship.
Yeah, you said, America, you're in real danger now. Paraphrasing Whoopi Goldberg. Now is the time for righteous anger, and I'm getting frustrated. American citizens are starting to see the situation with the National Guard as something that's nothing more in the next step in a Trump reality show. You couldn't be more wrong. And you said, I'm headed to D.C. to start veteran patrols that will spread all across the U.S. that will act as a buffer between the National Guard, Army, and federal law enforcement and protesters. It's our job to remind people our oath to the Constitution of the United States and not to a petty dictator. That's a great thing to do, Malcolm. Talk a little more about, because your piece suggests other things. You said get your ass out of a chair, start supporting protests, making a protest of your own, do the overpass, the signs on the overpass. You said if you're a veteran, start organizing squads to create VIPs, veteran intervention platoons or patrols. Talk more about what people can do, because those are great ideas.
Well, you know what? Now's the time you can do something. Because we've been saying this over the last year. Malcolm, what can we do? The election happened. Malcolm, what do we do? Now's the time for you to do something. I've been begging you all to get out on the streets. Begging you to get out on the streets. If you go to my political action committee, FAFOPAC.org, one of the things you can do is start your own overpass campaign. Find an overpass, put up messages up there, and let's do 1,000 of them and take back the meta-narrative from Trump, because when you drive past an overpass, you've got to read it, and you're stuck in your head for 5 minutes.
Every act of resistance counts. Just 2 constituents we played at these town halls, heroes of democracy. Representative Veronica Escobar of Texas saying the same thing you were just saying, Malcolm. Take a listen.
The other thing, frankly, John, is civic resistance. We need more people marching in the streets. And we saw during the civil rights era, people marching in the streets, fighting for the right to vote, raising awareness. And essentially, we need to see the same thing in America. Here in my community, we have been rallying folks. We have been having marches and events that have drawn in people who normally are not part of activism, who maybe sat out the last election. But it's a number of different fronts.
Yeah. So, Malcolm, here's the thing. You said until a few days ago, the National Guard was not armed in Washington, D.C. Trump and Hegseth ordered them to start carrying M4 rifles and pistols. Those of us old enough to remember Kent State understand why this is a really bad idea, right?
Look, I'm afraid to say it. We may have an incident where Kent State is small cheese. I mean, this is really, you cannot put semi-automatic rifles in the hands of these kids and tell them that they are going there to combat crime. Like what? Batman? I mean, this is absolutely ludicrous. This is not their job.
They're not trained for it. They're not trained for law enforcement. That's,
they're not. And what they're doing is that this is slow boil occupying the cities with troops. When Ukraine had its its color revolution, they brought out the army as their special force of the Berkut. The Saddam had Saddam Fedayeen. All of these forces are being turned into an occupation force. There was a veteran who was out with Jolly Good Ginger yesterday in Washington at the Union Station, and she said these soldiers are been ordered not to talk to civilians. They have been ordered not to listen to anybody. They look at us like we're the Iraqis in the street. And she had no doubt that if given an order, they would shoot people.
Yeah.
We have got to intervene here. So if you're a veteran in your city, find 3 other veterans and create your own little veteran intervention platoon. Go to rememberyouroath.org. That's Jolly Good Ginger's website.
Yeah.
Register and be prepared to start carrying out patrols between protesters and your National
And
Guard
Malcolm,
occupation force.
Yeah.
Christ almighty, I can't even believe we're talking about this.
And Malcolm, we talked last hour about they got them picking up trash in D.C. because they got nothing else to do. The soldiers here spoke out not anonymously in L.A. going, what the F are we doing here? We're standing here watching, staring at a building. So they just, and they made Trump made their deployments long enough. They won't get paid for leaving their homes and families because he F's over everybody. Anyway.
But the problem, Steffi, is those soldiers are being talked to months after the occupation, right? You weren't hearing these voices during the time that they were in Los Angeles.
Well, CPAP machines are the worst, right? Who can sleep at night with that mask and hose strapped to your face? But without it, breathing is disrupted, and if you have a higher risk of dementia, stroke, heart disease, or premature death, the bottom line is if you snore now, you are at heightened risk of requiring a CPAP machine later. So now is the time to stop snoring. One of the smartest, fastest, easiest ways to stop snoring is Zyppah. Zyppah is the comfortable doctor-designed mouthpiece that can stop snoring as fast as the first night. Don't be fooled by imitators. Zyppah was proven in a 600-patient clinical trial, and with over 500,000 units sold, Zyppah is the stop snoring device that we trust. No more being nudged awake for snoring. No more sleeping in separate rooms. No more feeling tired and foggy all day due to lack of sleep. Look, this may be your last best chance to solve your snoring problem now, or face having to wear that CPAP mask later. Zyppah, that's Happy Z spelled backward. I want you to try it with my special discount. Get 20% off and free shipping if you visit zyppah.com. Use that promo code SNORE. Again, the promo code is SNORE at zyppah.com.